Hannah, we both love a good rockumentary, don't we? But isn't it time we gave some recommendations for people who would rather listen to music than binge watch TV shows and films?
Funny you should say that, Ian, because British rapper Fletchy has just released his debut EP, The Colossal Apostle. It includes standout tracks Money Calling, This Is Crazy, and Ooh.
Ooh. And you don't have to just take our word for it. Fletchy has been shouted out by none other than LeBron James, as well as Dwayne Wade and Juicy J. A mix of humour, heartbreak, and hard-hitting beats. The Colossal Apostle is available to stream now.
And to find out more about this up-and-coming artist who is building a fan base on both sides of the Atlantic, follow at Fletchy2Fat. That's Fletchy with a Y, number 2, Fat on TikTok and Instagram. Well, hello and welcome to Binge Watch, the podcast where we take a look at the hottest new TV and film releases on streaming television platforms. I'm Hannah Fernando, the group editor of Woman and Woman and Home magazine.
And I'm Ian McEwan, writer on TV and Satellite Week, TV Times, What's on TV and whatToWatch.com. And today we're looking at the new releases that will be available on Friday, the 5th of September 2025. Including Sheridan Smith as the bereaved mother who campaigned to get the double jeopardy law changed in compelling real-life drama I Fought the Law on ITVX, and Australian murder mystery A Remarkable Place to Die on You.
And we'll also be checking out Mitchell and Webb's new Channel 4 sketch show and NCIS spin-off Tony and Ziva on Paramount Plus. But first, Ian, what's in the news?
The Disney Plus supernatural comedy drama Coven Academy will follow trainee witches who protect New Orleans from dark forces while navigating teenage rites of passage. What else is in
Obviously.
there? What else is in the news, Hannah?
Well, Eric Bana will return as dogged investigative, get my teeth in Fernando, agent Carl Turner in a second series of Untamed, set in a different American national park.
Good, and we did like that one, so pleased to hear it's coming back. So, decent selection this week, I would say. We've got a crime drama, we've got a real-life drama, we've got a sketch show, and we've got an NCIS spin-off. It's a good selection. We're going to start with the best of the bunch by far. On ITV1 and ITVX, a new drama called I Fought the Law. And here's a clip.
Are you there, Julie?
Please, my daughter's disappeared.
There's no evidence that anything happened to her inside that house.
The jury have delivered a not guilty verdict. You are formally acquitted.
We've been wronged. Something needs to be done about changing the double jeopardy law. How can the man who killed my little girl be free to keep on living his life? As long as there's breath in my lungs, I'm going to fight for our daughter.
So a couple of episodes of this were broadcast this week on ITV1. There are 4 in total, and they're all available on ITVX. And my goodness, it is high quality. So Mr. Bates versus the Post Office caused a big splash, didn't it? And it was about one man's sort of fight for justice and the Post Office Horizon software scandal. This is another true story. Sheridan Smith stars, and she is absolutely superb in it. She's playing Ann Ming, who is a Teesside mother of 3, whose daughter, Julie, went missing in 1989, and the police have bungled the investigation. And I don't want to, in case you didn't catch the episodes this week, I don't want to spoil a huge sort of twist in episode 1. But anyway, it turns out that she's been murdered, and the prime suspect is acquitted when juries fail to reach a verdict, but he later confesses to the killing. And there's lots of evidence as well. But there's this ancient double jeopardy law, which dates back 800 years, which says that you can't be retried for the same crime. So I met Anne and Sheridan and interviewed them. She's quite a remarkable woman, as you can gather, because she went on this 15-year quest to get the law changed. That was the only way she was going to get justice for Julie. And she ended up addressing the House of Lords, going to see the Home Secretary, Jack Straw. Anyway, this tells her story. Also in it, you've got Daniel York Lowe as her husband Charlie. It's also interesting the effect of this bereavement on the marriage, of course. And you've got Enzo Cilenti from The Crown. He plays DS Mark Braithwaite, who is a good police officer who helps her. It's like her liaison officer. And Sheridan Smith's, she's played some real life characters before. Cilla Black, cancer blogger Lisa Lynch in The C Word. She's also played the wife of great train robber Ronnie Biggs. She never went to drama school, but she is just, there are some harrowing emotional scenes in this, and she just absolutely nails it. She's outstanding. This is, for me, this will be one of the best dramas of this year. It's sheer quality. It's so moving, but it's not just. It's kind of, I guess, it's a bit of a triumph over tragedy type thing, because it runs the full gamut of emotions. And I've watched the first 2 episodes, and I cannot wait to watch the last 2. I'll probably watch those tonight, because it's so well written and so well performed, and it's also just an astonishing story. What did you think, Hannah?
I absolutely love Sheridan Smith because she manages, it seems to me, to get into the head of whoever she is portraying. And she does that with everything she does. And she's not a one-trick pony. She spends an inordinate amount of time, as one should in a situation like that, in watching mannerisms and the way they speak, and she gets everything absolutely spot on. And I saw her interviewed recently alongside the woman that she was portraying, and you could see her almost falling back into it because she'd studied her so hard. And I think that's really commendable and something that not many people are able to do, spend that much time watching, learning, and know, yes, makeup can do as much as it can do to make you look like someone, but actually those mannerisms, those hand gestures, the way she walks, for example, is absolutely key to this. And I think, like you said, the kind of the whole Mr. Bates versus the Post Office really changed the narrative, didn't it? It created a huge amount of column inches in the same way this is doing right now, and it's spectacular. It's absolutely brilliant, and I think it could have. The story's brilliant anyway because it's shocking, as you say, double jeopardy. I didn't really know that was a thing. I do now. So not only are you learning something on that front, I think had it been played by the wrong person, it could have been a completely different story. I think Sheridan just absolutely nails this and completely brings that character to life, and hats off to her, because it must have taken a huge amount of time to get it that good,
Over on You and Drama and the streaming platform You, we have a new crime drama called A Remarkable Place to Die. And here's a clip.
No wallet, no ID. Nothing. Maybe a homicide. What did bring you back here?
I just thought Mum could use the help.
No other agenda.
Some things have come to light in regards to my sister's death.
Lynn was not on drugs.
You have to be honest with me.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And dangerous.
Yes, so this is a 4-parter, and it's set in New Zealand, in the tourist destination of Queenstown. So it's a nice backdrop, shall we say? But it surrounds a series of murder mysteries. It's a cop series, and you see. I've read a few reviews on this, because sometimes I go a bit skewy and I think what I think, but maybe I shouldn't change. But a lot of people quite like this, and I've watched this and I found it, I'm going to be really honest with you, quite hard to get into. And the reason being is because the main character, Anais, I think she's quite unlikable. Now, she is supposed to be a very, very good detective, but you're immediately, she's obviously troubled. There's stuff that's gone on in her life. There's stuff that's gone in her past. Her father and her sister died 2 years apart. Very mysterious circumstances. She can't really get to the bottom of it. She's got a strange relationship with her mother. What does her mother know that she's not telling her? She's got her ex-best friend, Maya, who is also involved in all this. There's a bit of a falling out in the first episode between those two, yet again. She's a very gung-ho person. She's very, I suppose in some ways, exactly what you want from a detective like this, because she wants to go straight to the heart of something. But there's one part of this where she goes to question somebody in a hospital bed. And it's like there's no sort of doctors around or anything. She's just in there on her own. And he says, "Oh, I'm struggling to breathe. I need some help." And she just stays cool, calm and collected and goes and gets someone. But I think those those elements I felt like relatively, I don't know, it just didn't seem very credible, I suppose. But this story unfolds. You see her trying to solve a string of different cases. And did it grow on me? Yes, but it took me about halfway through the first episode before I just kind of kept zoning out, and that's not what you should be doing with something like this. It should be pacey enough to keep you involved, and I have to say it didn't. I kind of wanted more from it. What did you think, Ian?
I quite liked it. I must say, first of all, I have to flag up. It's got some interestingly named actors in it, doesn't it? Because playing Detective Anais is Chelsea Preston Crayford, but playing her ex-fiancé, Luke, you've got Charles Jazz Terrier. What the hell? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So it starts in very dramatic fashion with a car plunging over a cliff and just bouncing over and over and over and crashing. And it turns out that the person at the wheel of the car was already dead before it went over the cliff. Okay. So she's come home. Part of the reason I like it, the backdrop, as you say, is absolutely spectacular. It looks amazing. I feel it's quite underplayed, both in the writing and the acting. And that, she's coming home. She's got a bit of a strained relationship with her mum, which again is underplayed. It's nicely done because they're both trying to kind of get on, but her sister died in mysterious circumstances, so there's that kind of that bereavement has placed a strain on the family. Her father's died as well, spoiler alert. So she kind of wants to find out what happened to them, and is there a link to what's happened? I think there've been a series of these sort of car crashes. So I like the character because although she's got the sort of domestic troubles that many people would have, but I find the troubled detective is such a cliche, and it's usually massively overdone. Whereas she's just someone with a slightly complicated family life who's just going about her business and behaving. She's just very, very naturalistic, I think, in the way she acts, and also the dialogue is just I found quite believable. And also when she runs into her ex, who is now going out with her best friend, that's quite nicely done as well. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily watch something like this as a rule, but for what it is, I thought it was pretty well done. Let's joy be unconfined, Hannah, because David Mitchell and Robert Webb, who starred in the best ever sitcom Peep Show, which is available on Netflix, well, they're back to sketch comedy in Mitchell and Webb Are Not Helping on Channel 4 streaming. And here's a clip.
The devil has sprung from his loins! Shut him!
Are you going to stop paying me to have sex?
We are, yes. You've taken all my brand, you little scamp.
Any other bits you like?
None. The rest of it sounds...
I see.
Well, you're going to say this is a bold move. It's 15 years since their BBC Two sketch show, That Mitchell and Webb Look, finished. And they're back doing some more sketch comedy. I mean, sketch comedy, I think, well, for one thing, it's really expensive to make, as you can imagine, because you've got all the set costume, etc., for one short sketch. It all adds up, and it's also very difficult to do well. They've done a very good job, I would say. I laughed a lot, and what they've done, which is a very good move as well, they've gathered around them a sort of a troupe of comedy actors, including, I love him, Kyle Smith-Bino from Ghosts, Stevie Martin, who was on Taskmaster quite recently. I saw episode 1, so it starts off with a very amusing conversation about it's 18th century, sort of Georgian house, and David Mitchell's character is complaining because no one is using the newly invented water closet. They're still going to the loo in a chamber pot and chucking it out the window. So that's really funny. There's a very good therapy sketch as well. I think it's really well done. There's a TV show called Sweary Aussie Drama. I'd found that sketch not very funny, and it went on far too long. But my favourite by far, and this, I'm sure this cracked you up. So it's the two people working in the sort of security at an airport where you put your case on the conveyor belt and you're supposed to make sure you have no metal objects on you, and that is hilarious. So yeah, as I say, I think this was a bold move, but they both absolutely got funny bones. The writing is strong, the ideas are good, and this sketch troupe of pros works really well. We also see them in the writer's room, all of them sort of talking about, well, would this work as a sketch? Would that work? I think it's great. What did you think? Did you enjoy it, Hannah?
It is funny. It's really funny. And I know that they both were asked back, weren't they, by Channel 4 to do this. And I know they were very open to doing it. But, the kind of bringing in these upcoming writer performers for this series. What I'd really like to see is how they kind of got decided on who they were, because that idea came from Channel 4 rather than from them, because they were sort of busy writing the script, I suppose. But it's actually a great idea, because they're trying to find the next generation of comedians and giving them that platform, I guess, to do it. But I suppose they all have to be on board with who they are and whether they're the right fit and what have you. So I thought that was a really nice element to it that worked really well. I think they look like they're just having a great time as well, don't you? That it feels very, very comfortable. It doesn't feel hard work at all, even though. I mean, they don't really sort of. It's not modern day scenarios, is it? It's just all old, really. But it just kind of works. It's like an old pair of slippers, and they feel very comfortable together, and it doesn't sort of feel hugely pressured. Although, of course, they did have to sort of start with where they were going to start with writing this and trying to find their new sketch, but worked really well. I really.
It does. And of course, back in the day, they created one of the all-time great comedy sketches playing the two Nazi officers who it suddenly dawns on them that they're the baddies, which is absolute classic. And Number Wang, of course, they had the fictional game show. Anyway, good to see them back, even though Peep Show was so good that I find it impossible to watch them and not think about their Peep Show characters. But that's my problem, not theirs. Over on Paramount Plus, we have a new American crime drama spin-off called NCIS, Tony and Ziva. And here's a clip.
Are you two getting back together?
No.
So, what's the deal with you two? No deal. We used to chase bad guys together. Now we share this incredible child, and that's it. We like to make up our own rules.
We keep it professional.
We're good at professional.
Yes, so lots of people will be familiar with Tony and Ziva, but in this they reunite for this European adventure. And I actually hadn't watched this previously, and there has been lots of different spin-offs. But this is focusing on these two are on Tony DiNozzo and former Mossad agent Ziva David, and their relationship has been very on off, never going to happen, then happens. And wind back a few years, 2016, and Tony quit the Naval Criminal Investigative Service because he learnt that he had fathered a child with Ziva, who had then apparently died in a mortar attack in Israel, but it later transpired that hadn't happened, that Ziva had faked her death to protect the family, and then she was last seen heading for Paris to be reunited with Tony and daughter Tali. And this spin-off really gives you an insight. It's focused all around them, and I think that's why I quite like it. So it is massively, massively action-packed, but it goes back to what happened to them. Where are they? Their chemistry between the two of them is really, really fun. I really like their relationship because not only are they working together, but they're bringing up a daughter together, and there's some really cute stuff in there where the daughter asks them, a few questions, and they're navigating, teenage years with her too. So it's very he's been framed. So they're having to go underground. They're trying to. I mean, we'll talk about sort of believability, and there are elements of this which just completely are not. Those kind of big car chases and what have you, and cars spinning round and what that's probably not, but it does absolutely grasp you. It is action packed. As I say, I think it has a different level to it, because whilst you've got all of that going on and you've got all that drama, actually, for me, it was the relationship between the two of them that really kind of appealed to me. I don't know if you watched it originally, Ian, and how invested you were in the two of them, or indeed in this. But I don't think you need to have done, do you?
No, I agree. And I haven't watched any NCIS. I mean, it's really popular, isn't it? There have been loads of spin-offs. But I did enjoy this, I must say. And so it's Michael Weatherly plays Tony, and Cote de Pablo plays Ziva. And they do just have this great chemistry between them. Because, yeah, as you say, they've had this on-off relationship, and now they are in Paris, and they're not together, but they're bringing up their daughter together, if that makes sense. And I've seen a lot of interviews with the two actors, and you can tell that Weatherly, a bit like Tony, he's got that slightly kind of man-child, quite a handful character, whereas Coates is like Ziva, is sort of the calm one. But yeah, they've got something special going on there. You can see why they thought, yeah, let's get them in their own show, and yeah, there's a lot of charm to it. I mean, it kind of, in a way, I guess it reminds me of the all-time great Will They, Won't They show Moonlighting with Bruce Willis, of course, back in that's really old, isn't it? But yeah, as you say, he's now running a security firm. So we're way past NCIS itself. She's running a language school, but yeah, it's a kind of malware sort of cyber hacking storyline that basically puts them in danger. And so it's the old story. They've got to go on the run and clear their names. Yes. But yeah, I got to say, I wasn't expecting to enjoy it, but it really did. I thought it was great fun. Now, we've got to that time, young Hannah, my lad, where we find out what the hell you've been binge watching this week. Well, you've been on holiday. Maybe you haven't been binge watching.
I did actually. I put some stuff on in the evenings, and I'm actually going to talk about the thing. We reviewed both of these last week, but of course only watched an episode or so, and I've binge watched the whole jolly lot. So Saran Jones and Hostage takes a little while to get into, but like we said last week, she's completely believable as the Prime Minister by the end of it, and it leaves it on a bit of a cliffhanger, doesn't it? It's a funny place to end. So I really enjoyed that. And then I also watched the Thursday Murder Club, which I think I might have been slightly eager in my want for it to be amazing, because by the time I'd finished watching it, if you love the book, I'm not, and I sort of convinced myself that with all those big names, it was the best thing sliced bread. I don't feel like it was a waste of time. I did enjoy watching it to the end, but I do think Pierce Brosnan's accent is absolutely dire. I don't know what he's doing. It's worth watching. I stand by the fact you should watch it, but really that accent is just, and I think I said like last time, some of those characters, they're not how you visualize them when you've read it, you know.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I sort of felt, was I a bit too kind of negative about it? Because I think it's number one globally on Netflix now, and I've seen a lot of my friends posting about how much they loved it. However, I did read the Empire magazine review, and it said as disappointing as a stale scone. So yeah, so I didn't feel I was totally out on a limb. And yes, binge watch wise, of course, I've been watching yet another sports documentary series, the latest in Last Chance U, which is about young American footballers trying to break into the big time. And I just, shows like that, I can't get enough of it. There's another one about Dallas Cowboys, which I've got to get stuck into. But anyway, enough of that. We've just got time to look ahead to next week's offering. So what is on the binge watch menu?
Well, the very brilliant Freddie Flintoff converts even more youngsters to cricket as Field of Dreams returns on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah, and it's great. Once again, a BAFTA-winning show, of course. And Robin Wright plays a mother with reservations about her son's new girlfriend. I bet that brings back some memories, Hannah. In Prime Video thriller, The Girlfriend. So, we look forward to those and much, much more. But in the meantime, listeners,
watching.